Hey, it's inauguration day and I don't give a fuck. I've never given a fuck. I don't care when old white people get a job. I get when the black people went to black people inauguration day, and I get when the ladies will go to lady day and the gays will have their president someday. The Italians never will. We all know that. They'll never get a president. But everyone else, they'll all go there for their day. But who gives? I want to go back to a time where someone goes, oh, that's today? Because then we weren't as stressed out or yelling at each other on Twitter, and it was nicer. Yeah, people were more racist. Maybe not more racist, but quieter racist, and they hit their wives less. But still, I think it's the time we have to just stop caring when an old white man gets a job. Speaking of old white men, take it, Frank.
Thanks, Pat. Welcome to the Pat Oates POS show with your host, Pat Oates, and his cohort, Bobby Tamburo. Our special guest tonight is from the OfFenzive podcast and the SMC podcast, the one and only Paul Fenz. Take it back, Pat.
Paul, how did he do?
Great, dude. How you guys
You're allowed
doing?
to judge him. Did he say anything wrong? Did he get it all right?
He crushed it. Thanks, Frank. What an intro, dude.
He's been on fire lately. He's been reading what I actually text him.
No, that was great. Thanks for having me on.
Practice.
If you notice, I did not call it ski mask offensive because that's offensive to me. You're not. Yeah. He's not Walt Disney nor Trump. I love ski mask, but he can't name all of you.
Yeah, exactly. I was telling them that for a while. You can't just put ski mask in front of everything, but they keep doing it. So.
Oh, you're the ski mask guy.
No, he's not.
No.
Frank, ski mask has been on the show. You met ski mask.
Well, how would I know if he had a ski mask on?
It's true.
Frank, remember when he did the comedy show with us at Mohegan Sun, but he wasn't ski mask. He was Kevin.
Damn, dude.
He was the guy from Texas.
So many people
the
on
guy
this
from
podcast.
that ski mask?
That's ski mask, the guy from Texas.
Oh, okay. Now I know.
Yeah,
wow.
Let him. Because Frank used to put on a show at the curfew stopped it, but we had a 10 o'clock show at Mohegan Sun. It was a bringer show, and I host it, and then Frank puts on the show and performs, and I don't have a car, so I can get a ride to bring me, and Ski Mask came up with me, and it was the first time I got to meet him live and also like watch him perform. And for a guy doing it a couple of years, he's pretty funny. Like he's getting it. He definitely, this is hurting him. A guy at his level definitely needs stage time every day. I told him once things open up, I'll make sure he's starting to get stage time and shit. But it was fun when he did it. So
there's nothing to do. Like as far as like open mics and shit like that, like you say, just getting stage time or guest spots or whatever, like 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here.
And even a guest spot for someone like him, it's nerve wracking because you're worried about doing well. And it's not like at that level, you want to try to do well so somebody will let you give a host spot or something like that. And you have nowhere to work it out. And you're like someone like him, he performs at a secret show and then 2 months later performs somewhere else. You forgot what you did. Bobby's kind of in the same boat. He's getting some spots, but every time he's like, fuck, I got to knock the rust off a little bit,
Yep.
Yeah, and like I'm still in that position where every show I look at is like I want to go out and impress these people. You know what I mean? I'm fortunate one of the local clubs has an open mic Thursdays still that I'm still able to get to every so often so I can try new bits and things like that. But yeah, like it's been tough. And like the secret show is great. The audience is great, but it's a very niche audience.
It's not a comedy audience.
Yeah. So like what kills there isn't going to be generally funny. So it's really tough to get a good gauge on like what's going on with my jokes and things like that.
Well, especially, and this is not me being a dick, I'm being serious, but you're not used to a crowd going, Bobby. They're like, who?
Yeah,
you're not at that level yet. I mean, you're usually doing a hosting spot or something like that. That crowd already knows your personality, and that can hurt and help you. Like, it's nice because they're going to laugh a little harder and they kind of get your personality, but you like can't gauge the jokes because it's almost like the only time you can compare yourself to Seinfeld. Because Seinfeld walks out and they're like, it's Jerry. We don't care if he farts. We're going to laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Until he has to prove something. The same way when you do the secret show, they're like, oh, it's Pat Dixon. He's going to say the N-word. Yay. And whatever. And they cheer with a cowboy hat on. It's fun. And then look, there's Chrissy. We love her. They all just love, and they can have a bad set or a good set. It's more about the meet and greet and that fun. It's
hanging out.
Like a Comic-Con for Compound. But like the big star doesn't show up. Like you're not getting Luke Skywalker, but you'll get R2D2. You know what I mean? Like those. And that's why I liked being on it that one time. But at the same time, I don't know. I like just performing. Like this last weekend was the first time in a couple months I got to do 2 shows in a weekend because it finally went together. And both were sold out, which was awesome. And I got to do 45 minutes plus on each one. It's just fun, and the crowds are back into it. At the beginning of all
heard
this,
your dick look huge.
They were scared and like they were out, but they were worried. Now they don't give a fuck anymore. They're almost like there's hecklers again. There's assholes like, oh yeah, we forgot. We can be assholes. I got to yell at this woman and almost make her cry. It was fun. It was a good time. And then she was with her hairdresser, and the guy goes, "I'm gay." I'm like, "Yeah, you didn't need to say the second part. You're a hairdresser."
Oh, don't waste it on us, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for, in case I was looking or trolling for cock, I guess. Thank you for throwing me that one. I appreciate it. Paul, have you ever done stand-up?
No, never.
What
Not
got
once.
you into doing the podcast then?
They brought me on as a guest one time, dude. I just knew them as friends. And like, I've always been a big fan of comedy and podcasting. And after I was on as a guest, he's like, "Hey, dude, you want to come on as a co-host?"
He's like, "You have the sexiest voice in the goddamn business, and we need you on here."
yeah,
like-
that's almost verbatim what the
You're like
DM
less
said.
you're like less retarded Keith Olbermann, and we need this.
Yeah. I've read Boston, Jim Florentine, Seth MacFarlane. I've heard a million different ones, dude.
I think it works with them because the voice is better. Because none of the rest of those guys are like. Mead has a decent voice when he's not drunk, and so it's good there. But I like that Ski Mask just collects you guys like Pokemon, where he's just like, "You're on the show, you're in. You're on the show." And he's got 80. I'm like, "What's a juggy?" I don't know. And like I'm just seeing all these things, but it's cool. That's all come together. I like that.
Yeah. He wants to do like his own network type thing, so we'll see where it goes. He's
trying to get me. He wants me to be the first in studio guest because I live like 15, 20 minutes away from him. And it just the times never line up, but definitely soon I'm going to go into his lair and check it out. So,
yeah, I've been down to the studio, not since it's been finished, but at Chucky's house where he's got it. And I saw like the very beginnings of it. And it would be a sick spot to have people there. You can have people watch there.
You can watch Chuck chop wood and drive around the tractor and act like he's in Texas himself.
He's got a flamethrower.
Yeah.
He's got a ton of shit, dude. He's a fucking nut. But yeah,
that family's nuts.
Yeah, they really are. Dude.
That's a family that was born to talk into a microphone, though. Like,
seriously, immigrant parents too
should podcast.
Yeah, I agree. Immigrant parents too. I don't know, maybe just a weird upbringing.
Aren't we? Don't we all?
Best.
In a way, don't we all have immigrant parents?
Not fresh off the boat though, like that.
I don't think they're ever fresh.
yeah. Let's just say off the boat.
Maybe ripe, but I don't know about fresh. So, Frank. You're doing good. You're not going to die during the show.
No. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with Paul. I mean, he's got this unbelievable voice.
I told you.
He's got this unreal mustache going on.
It is.
Appreciate it.
I'm not a fan of just the mustache, but Paul rocks it well because the haircut matches well with it.
Yeah.
Not like a douchebag hipster thing. It makes sense to his face.
Yeah.
And he's got this John Cusack thing going on.
Oh.
Cusack, huh?
Yeah.
It's a first.
The eyes. I see it in the eyes.
Not Joan, right? John? Not Joan.
Who?
Joan, the sister, the one that looks like retarded.
No, not Joan. We're not talking about Bobby. We're talking about Paul.
Bobby is a hotter Joan Cusack. How dare you? How dare you?
As long as I'm hotter.
FTM, Joan Cusack, fucking Bobby.
All right, enough banter. Here's our first story. Caitlyn Jenner lined up. I get this stupid thing. Caitlyn Jenner lined up for a role in new Sex in the City to make it more diverse. Exclusive. I'm a celebrity favorite. Oh, there you go. This is the thing I hate. One thing we do on this show, Paul, so you know, not only are the people in the story piece of shit, but because the articles are written by the Mirror and bullshit like that, I also put the author up for a piece of shit because some of these things should never be written. So Janine Yacoub, which sounds like a racist term, but Janine Yacoub wrote this. Reality star Caitlyn Jenner is set up for a spot in the comeback series of Sex in the City after the original was slammed for not being exclusive enough. Caitlyn Jenner could be set for a cameo role in the new Sex and the City revival. Celebrity at the top of the list to appear in the reboot of the hit show, sources say. Bosses are thought to want to make it as diverse as possible after the old series and films were criticized for not being inclusive. They believe transgender icon Caitlyn, 71, would be perfect for the role.
71.
First of all, the piece of shit thing that we're going to offer up here. One, is it Sex in the City for thinking we need it again? I get it. The whole world wants to reboot, and we're in a time where we force nostalgia on people. I mean, it's my generation that's telling my kids they have to fucking like the Smurfs and Transformers. Why can't we just create other things? We don't need more Sex in the City. That was something, I didn't watch it, but it's almost like the Guys We Fuck podcast. It was popular back then because no one else did it, but now there's a million women doing that. There's a million. Every show is Sex in the City. I want to see a show with guys that are straight Sex in the City. That would be the thing you couldn't handle. What do people want this show? Is it Caitlyn Jenner for fucking pretending she's an actress or whatever the fuck it is? Like, you're not an actor. You shouldn't be in a show just because you decided to be a guy. You were an Olympic fucking athlete, Bruce. What are you doing? But anyway, it's a piece of shit for thinking they could be in that. Is it Sex in the City and all their producers for thinking that this means diversity. If I'm a black woman, I'm pissed. You're comparing me to the Olympic athlete who talked the cock and now thinks they can act. That's not diverse. It's a white guy. It's a white guy stealing a role. If I can do that, I can put on a wig and go put me in the lady shows in Boston. Those fun ones that are downtown that no one goes to. I'm a sexy lady. And they have to accept me. That's how it works. Is it this woman for writing this fucking article at a time where this was written last week at the same time that people were storming the White House and people were on fire and all that? This person's like, we need to know more about the Sex and the City fucking reboot. Bobby, who's the piece of shit in the story?
All right. It's not Sex in the City. For putting more
You think
diversity.
people even want this? Do women want this show?
I think so. And like, that's where this kind of stuff belongs. Like, put it in for the people who are going to cheer it on. In an action movie, put
Those people are dead. That show was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, but
they were already 40
something. Nostalgia reasons. It's whatever. It's gonna be out there.
They should call Caitlyn Jenner Mr. Big instead of Chris Noth.
But no. My issue with using Caitlyn Jenner is it's not gonna be a realistic story. Like, it's just pandering because it's a name we all know. Like, if they picked a black transgendered woman in the city who like gets beat up at one point because she doesn't tell somebody she's transgendered, and they really talk about the issues that are really out there. That's one thing. This is just putting it in for a token effect. It's almost
if you
more
had
offensive.
Eddie Murphy trying to fuck one of them all the time.
Yeah, like something realistic.
That'd be a good story.
But no, like it's almost making light of that story just to be like, yeah, we got a transgendered person in there, and it's really not like talking about the issue in any way whatsoever. So it is Sex in the City, but not for coming back. It's for their token inclusiveness. Like,
no, I never really watched the show, but all four of them at one point, I'm like, I wouldn't mind seeing them naked. Maybe not the redheaded thing that was, all cancerous or whatever, but like, I wouldn't mind. But the whole point's supposed to be like sex, and I don't want to watch Caitlyn Jenner sex.
No, nobody does. Like, they're
gonna have to talk. It's Sex in the City. It's not.
Put Bailey Jane in. Everybody's sitting there watching, starting asking questions about themselves.
I don't know who that is.
Maybe I didn't know. You don't know who Bailey Jane is?
It's a very passable tranny. Like, if we tell you, like, if it was one of those gifs of like a hot chick and then it goes down and then it's a flopping dick at the end, like, you would get tricked.
A VPT, if you will.
And it's not a tiny.
Very passable tranny.
She's got a hammer.
Yeah, and she's got a fucking unit on her.
It's a passable tranny and not Thai.
No,
white chick. Yep.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Not chick.
But put her in.
You know what I mean? White female.
Put her, and then they'd have everybody like, "Oh, who's that?" And be like, "Well, you should Google her."
Everyone has to question themselves.
I don't Google blue waffle or that ever. Okay. All right. So who's the piece of shit, Bobby?
Sex in the City for like fake inclusiveness. Go all in. Be
Paul,
ballsy.
who's the piece of shit?
So it's definitely, I don't think it's Sex in the City because obviously they're just trying to make money. It's everything. They can't make new shit. I agree with you, Pat. Everything's a reboot. Movies, video games, even music is like, it's all covers of old songs, like the beats and shit. You know what I mean? I feel like there's no new, when a new thing comes out, it's amazing.
It's not even like the rappers are sampling things. They're literally doing the old song.
Yes.
And like just having some weirder vibration to their voice. Like there's a couple of guys that brought Rod Stewart back. I was like, rappers with Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we doing, Rod? Go back, just die.
Yeah, they'll just rap over like Flock of Seagulls or something and like just make it like electronic kind of. Right. But yeah, so there's like
no creativity.
New. There's nothing new, really. It's all like superhero movie reboots and shit. So I get Sex in the City coming back. It's definitely not the Reporter. Is that the other option?
Well, there's any option you want. You can even make it your own.
So those three, I can't even think of another.
Is it Caitlyn Jenner?
It's definitely Caitlyn Jenner because the Reporter, they just write dog shit. It's an article about Caitlyn Jenner and Sex in the City. People are gonna.
But see, I think these reporters should quit their job. If that's my piece, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go do something else.
Yeah, but who do they write for though? Who is this?
The Mirror. It's actually a bigger one.
Is that a big one? I don't know. I think
in London it is.
The
it's
internet.
Their Inquirer.
Okay. All right.
Or I guess their Post.
Yeah. All right. So it's just they're looking for clicks. It's Caitlyn Jenner because she's 71. That's disgusting. Whether you're a man, woman, or tranny.
Frank, you're 79.
If you're 79, I take offense to that. All of a sudden, Paul,
Frank, are you on
becoming
Sex
the
in
piece of shit.
Are you on Sex in the City though?
Not
No.
yet.
Talking about your
Season 2.
dick?
He's
I
Mr.
mean, did you
Big.
not
did
hear
in the-
him?
in the
Hang on.
day,
Did you not
yes.
hear Frank hit on you the whole introduction? He wants sex in the offensive.
He did,
He's-
dude.
He
That's
wants
true.
some of that Boston cock.
That's
Yeah, he
true,
wants that
dude.
city to be Boston, baby. Real hard.
He's
real
got
hard cock for you, Paul. Real hard.
he's got like Catholic Church Father Frank vibes, dude.
Ugh.
Yeah. I can't wait for
But,
that documentary. That's gonna be good.
Right, dude? What's it called?
Spotlight on Paul's asshole. That's what that's called.
Yeah.
He
I was
wants you to give him the old Ken McHale up and under.
That's never an alt.
Double pump fake Frankenstein butt fuck right there from Kevin McHale.
Short shorts, dude.
So Caitlyn Jenner is your pick.
Caitlyn Jenner's the asshole because it's like here's the biggest reason why. Number one, it's gross. You're 71, whether it's a chick, a dude, whatever, because it's a show about fucking. That's the
Right.
show. They're in the city and it's their sex life. So it's the inclusivity part. Because if aren't these trannies supposed to be women? So how is it being inclusive? You know what I mean? Like she's supposed to be a woman, and it's like, oh look, it's different because it's a tranny woman. Aren't they supposed to want to be the same thing?
If you're gonna put an old thing in there that nobody wants to fuck, Betty White hasn't
White.
died yet. Just put Betty White.
Yeah.
All right, let's watch Betty White get fucking plowed at 99.
Dude, I just watched. Did you guys see the Night Stalker that just came out? The documentary.
I was gonna watch that. I'm finishing something that I saw. That's next.
Cannot recommend it enough. But spoiler alert: he fucks a lot of elderly women, rapes them.
Frank.
It's brutal.
It's your porn.
We're talking 80s, Frank. Older
Yeah,
than
that's
you,
a
brother.
year older than Frank.
Yeah, older than you, dude. This guy was wild, old Ricky Ramirez. You should check it out. It's
Yeah.
fucking sick.
Oh, no one has ever called him old Ricky Ramirez.
Old Ricky.
like that.
Old Ricky
Old
Ram.
Ricky. Frank, who's the piece of shit?
You know, I saw this on my computer the other day. I just got through Jenner guest star Sex and I said, oh, this is bullshit. I mean,
Did you like
then I
Sex in the
started
City?
to
Did you ever
think
watch
about
it?
no. Then I started to think about it. All right, Jenner's trying to make a career for herself. That's what he's doing. So he took the job because he's getting paid and he's getting exposure. Number one. Sex in the City will probably did it just to get the publicity that they're getting. The writer
Frank,
wrote
you're
it
dead
because it
naming
was a
Caitlyn,
story.
by the way.
in-
You can't say he. That's dead name.
Yeah.
You got to say she, my guy.
Several
I thought I
times.
said she.
No, you said he like 5 times, and it was beautiful. We all smiled.
Yeah.
5 he's equal 1 she.
Yeah.
All right.
By the way,
So-
you know what? I think there should be a rule. If you're older than the tranny, you can call whatever you want. And Frank, your grandfathered in.
Transfathered in, dude.
Yeah, oh, nice. Fathered. I appreciate
So
that.
I
I
agree
can
with that.
see, I can see everybody's point of view here. Plus, I see my point of view where I didn't go past the third word because I knew it was a piece of shit and it was a story that people had taken advantage of. So who's the piece of shit that brought it to me? Pat.
Me. It's always me, Frank. What the fuck?
I have a question for
always.
Frank.
Yes.
Frank, are you biased against Caitlyn because she pulled off a greater joke than you and Alan Alda ever did?
By the way, it's Alan Abel. I wish him and
Abel.
Alan Alda did shit together.
bad,
That'd be
dude.
even better.
Yeah. No, I respect him for what he is and what he lived through, but it's his life, not my life.
Listen, I hope that every week, if they're gonna do this right, every week, Caitlyn Jenner should run someone over and kill them with a car.
Yeah.
That should be the part of. They're like, "Oh, Caitlyn, you did it again!" Wah wah. And she just kills people with her car. No sex, just destroying them and getting away with it.
Yeah. That was
That should
probably the
be-
funniest thing he ever did.
Yeah, and then Eddie Murphy goes to the car and tries to fuck her. And that would be the ongoing gag. Eddie Murphy loves to fuck trannies.
Well, Pat, that was a great pitch for SNL. We're going to pass, but we like your sketch idea of Caitlyn and Eddie.
Oh, it's because I didn't pitch it in a Chinese voice. That's my bad. I'm sorry.
You didn't write anything for
Oh,
Bone Ring.
honorable Caitlyn. Oh, honorable. All right. What we got here? We got, oh, it's another dumb one. All right. Alleged Jeffrey Epstein recruiter is reportedly a horrible neighbor. That's literally the headline from the New York Post and Chris White, which I hope he is. Jeffrey Epstein's alleged sex slave recruiter, Sarah Kellen, and her NASCAR driver husband, Brian Vickers, have caused misery at Celebrity Condominium in Soho, according to neighbors who complain of their endless apartment renovation. Kellen, 41, has been accused by the late pedophile's victims of being the lieutenant who helped Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell procure hundreds of girls. She denies the accusation, saying she was a victim, not a monster. Now she faces fresh allegations that she and Vickers are a headache for residents of a luxury building in 92 Green Street that was once home to Lindsay Lohan. The couple lives in a 3-bedroom, $10 million penthouse at the Mercer Green building, where Vickers is president of the condo board. The 14 apartments are above ground retail space that once housed the Ivanka Trump boutique and is now designer Brett Johnson's U.S. flagship store. The building has been plagued by constant construction work for years, dating back to before Vickers became president in 2015, and the residents complain about the cost and inconvenience of the maintenance. One homeowner says they've been charged $100,000 in assessments in the last 5 years. Who's the piece of shit? Anyone who's like, let's complain because obviously this lady knew fucking Epstien and just like, that's all that is. They have owned $10 million. Most of those fuckers probably aren't even staying in that condo. They're traveling. Yeah. Their Mexican maids stay there or something like that. That kind of money, they're not hanging now. They're complaining because there's a name to get on it, and hopefully that will help them, live more tax or do whatever. Is it Lindsay Lohan for not even being the most interesting thing that's ever lived in that house? That girl tried so hard in her life to make movies, then fuck Indian people or whatever it was, and everything else she's tried to do. Remember when she was hot and then she was gross? You can always find that meme where that line right there. What? She's sitting on that bed. And listen, no, I'm still a Lindsay Lohan fan.
Any day of the week, dude. I'll fight you. I'll drive to Connecticut right now. We can
won't
square
need
up
to
over
fight.
Lindsay Lohan.
I'm more entertaining and charming. So it
was hot, is hot, will be hot.
No, and listen, Bobby, I'm not arguing with you, but there was a point in life where if Lindsay Lohan was in a room at a party, I wouldn't even take a shot. I now think I can hit on other people, and then when the night's closing, I could go, there's no one else to go home with. Let me go hit on Lindsay and pull it off. I think we're at that level with Lindsay Lohan. And race car driver guy is number 2. Now, think about that. Your whole life, you're racing. I don't know if he's a champion. I'm not a NASCAR guy. But this dude is number 2 to the lieutenant of kid fucking, which has got to suck. So Lindsay Lohan's 3 on that. Is it the race car guy for like, hey, hon, let's stop doing some construction? You know what I mean? You remember your boss, the one that used to like steal people and traffic them and throw them on islands and shit? How about we chill out for a little bit and calm it down? Is it the board for making her the president when this was all cool and they were hoping to go to the island? They were hoping to go to the island. And now that it's a bad island and you can't go hang out anymore, even though Trump would just hang out with the staff, he never went there and fucked anybody. Is it them for putting her on the board, then wondering why she thinks she can run the fucking place? Or is it this guy writing this article because what the fuck? Who gives a shit if they're bad neighbors? No one's reading that going, I wonder what it's like. Do they mow the lawn late at night or do they shovel weird? No, you're just hoping that you heard there's kid fucking in there. Bobby, go first.
All right. Well, it's certainly not Lindsay Lohan, that angel. If you're listening to this, slide in my DMs. If you're truly as desperate as Pat says you are, it's Bobby.
Yeah, hey, Lindsay, get out of my DMs and go bother Bobby. How about that? Right? I'm tired of it.
No, it's the neighbors.
Lilo. I call her Lilo. That's what I call her.
Yeah, I mean, you know her that well. I get it. But it's the neighbors. Don't snitch. Just mind your own goddamn business. All right. That lady's clearly going through something stressful right now.
$10 million homes. That's built on snitching, Bobby. That's what when you have that kind of money, all you do is tell on people. It's
certainly not the race car driving husband who's just like, oh, you're stressed. Let's go party. And like, let's go build shit. Like,
imagine that you're a race car driver and you're like, hey, just get a hobby while I'm gone. And she goes and becomes lieutenant of kid fucking. Like, couldn't you just fucking do Pinterest? Like, what the fuck?
Well, I like your initiative. You certainly showed a lot of hustle.
How about be a Girl Scout leader? Could you do that now?
Also, it's kind of him. Like, I'd be out there screaming at the neighbors. She could be recruiting kids.
Yeah. We rather her inside fixing than outside hanging and babysitting. You know what I mean? So who is it, Bobby?
It's the neighbors for snitching. Shut the fuck up.
Frank?
I was going to go with the lieutenant because she's a piece of shit.
I like that you're calling her the lieutenant.
Every form of the way she is. But I'm going to the husband. He's the piece of shit. He's riding on her coattails. What fucking race has he won? Maybe to the 7-Eleven, and that's about it.
Ooh,
I mean, I'm
7-Eleven.
He's the piece of shit because he would have dumped her in a minute if he knew what she was doing.
You don't dump anyone with those ties, Frank. You die. If you try to divorce her, I bet you she has more money than him.
Oh, for sure.
She's probably
got Ghislaine Maxwell's lieutenant money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still blame him for riding her
the race car driver's the trophy husband. Come on.
Yeah. He's, if you look him up, Brian Vickers, handsome.
That's
Handsome
the
fucking
joke I
devil.
was making.
A lot of NASCAR guys are handsome.
What's his name?
Brian Vickers. Don't all look him up now. We're on a show.
No, Frank.
So Frank, you're going there. Paul,
Frank was
who's the piece
saving
of
that one
shit?
to memory. The chick, she's a fucking pedophile, dude.
There you go.
Fuck her, dude. She's the biggest piece of shit in the story. I laughed when you read her husband. How the fuck does number 2 to Ghislaine Maxwell? Her dad's Robert Maxwell, world renowned, literally related or somehow to the crown of England. How is her?
If these
assistant-
women were not being entertained by their men, they
Yeah.
were a loose, just wrangling up kid dick. Like,
A
just loving it.
NASCAR driver, though. You'd think even like at least an NBA player or an NHL guy or something. You know what I mean? That's fucking old money.
Now
she
that I'm reading
cashed
his
in.
Wikipedia,
Give her one of the Celtics, maybe one of the Bruins if she's good, you know?
Yeah, maybe Brad Marchand or something.
oh, you know what? He actually won the 2003 NASCAR Busch Series championship driving for Hendrick Motorsports, but now he's just like an interim driver for like Tony Stewart and shit. So he's not really doing it anymore because he doesn't need to because his wife fucking got a great hobby.
Yeah. I don't know how he got on the board, too. The article said he was the head, and the wife was obviously the one with the money.
Well, I'm sure like when he
His
wasn't
hobby.
driving cars, she's like,
Yeah.
do something.
He starts asking questions.
Keep busy.
Like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
Where do we get the money from? She's like, you know what? I'm going to make you the head of this board. You go
You're
handle
promoted,
this.
honey.
Stop asking stupid questions.
Yeah.
What's all the construction? Are they building more Mexican cages in the back? What are they building in this condo? Like,
Fuck dungeons for the kids, dude.
so much fucking in the dungeons. They love it.
They just keep bringing soundproofing in. I don't know how many studios they're building.
That'd be crazy if his one problem was like, we had a rule. You fuck on the island, not in the condo. You know the rules.
Yeah, don't shit where
bring
you eat,
work
honey.
home.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you not understand what plausible deniability is?
She's
I
like,
want
no,
it.
I'm the lieutenant of kid fucking. I don't know big phrases. You think she went to school? Like, that's the thing. Ghislaine, her, they're probably very educated people. There had to be a point where they're like, this is a little wrong. Like, right? Like,
Yeah. I don't know.
I've
man.
never met anyone purely evil. I know people that, on Twitter seem that way, but in real life, they're not. When you meet them, they're like, oh, they're just trying to be a blowhard. But someone that literally, you know what? I guess it's not right. I bartended for a while. There were guys who were just like, they were rapey and terrible. And you're like, I wish I could cut you off and send you somewhere. But I don't think they'd have the ability to gather people and make a scam, especially one that's like, let's just traffic children. And then talk to how do you talk to someone else and go, hey, I've got this great thing going. We traffic these kids. We go to an island. Rich people go. They fuck the kids. We go surprise their kids. We got you on camera. Give us your money. Like, what a crazy scam.
Yeah. The
Like, I'm
ultimate.
trying to get people to send me $20 on Venmo. Like, I can't pull that off. They're going to islands and shit.
Yeah.
I feel like with that girl, she claimed she was a victim, and I think, and they're claiming she was a lieutenant. It was probably both. Like, she was probably
Yep.
just victimized and then taught how to do it, and like that's how you get them. And then at a certain point, it's like, oh shit, you have that coming to conscious moment, and when you do, they're like, oh, by the way, you've done more than anybody else.
Do you think Tom
you're
Hanks or one
fucking
of them
in.
was just fucking the shit out of her? It's like, hey, this one's a keeper.
Yeah. This one's got a work ethic.
Great
on it.
conversationalist. She could probably flip this. It'd be great. You know, she probably could play both sides. Like, the student has become the teacher.
Bobby's right though. It's the same thing that happened with the Smallville chick with Nexium. She was like, raped or fucked by the head guy. I don't know his name of Nexium, and then she ended up as like his number one recruiter. No, I think she's doing time for her, right?
Yeah, how come none of the kids
Yeah.
who got fucked by Dan Schneider turned out to be good recruiters? They just fucking went off to be terrible people.
Yeah. They
He
just
just
got
had less of a
fucked up.
business plan.
Like Amanda Bynes lost her mind, and he probably fucked that guy from Good Burger, the one that went crazy.
Shia LaBeouf probably. He's
He
fucking
fingered the fuck out of shot right all in his
dude.
holes.
Even
ladies and gentlemen,
Stevens.
holes. It's like, Frank, do you even get any of those references?
Shia LaBeouf, I know.
There you go.
nice.
Nice.
I'm still wrapping around how this woman is walking on the face of this earth and not in jail.
Well, she doesn't have to
That's
always
what I
walk. Her
mean.
husband's a good driver, so he drives her around.
It makes no sense. I mean, justice.
They're
As-
still listen, Frank. They got to get through all this White House things. And now that Trump's hanging out in Florida, they can now focus back on this shit. But for a while, they had to get through the president, so they put a back burner. They, Ghislaine and Epstein were not fucking anybody now. They're all out of the way. So now they can start going after these other people. So
I don't know
that's
if you
why I
know
would be a
this.
good neighbor.
Yeah, keep a
Piece
low
of shit.
profile.
Is her. Be the best neighbor. I'd be making brownies for people every day. So they go, instead of saying, oh, the lady that was the lieutenant of kid fucking, they go, oh, you mean that nice girl next door? Yeah, I know she got tied up with the wrong people, but man, she makes a mean casserole. You know, I'd be doing that all the time. I'd be like doing any favor, but let me get your mail for you, whatever it would be. It's like, you want me to like kill your Mexican landlord or your Mexican landscaper, I mean, because he didn't do a good job. Whatever you need, I can pull it off.
Yeah, Mexican landlord. What?
Mexican landlord.
That was
proving how much money I have. I just think more money than me. Frank, do you have a story this week?
Yeah, I got a little one. Since last week was such an epic story, I'm going down.
By the way, I think if you could wanted to fuck a comedian, Manny Santiago was in love with you.
Yeah.
With me?
Yeah. By the way, Bobby, if you went to talk to him again, thank him. I couldn't find him on social media to tag him or anything, but he was fantastic. So
Absolutely. I
It was good.
We should get him on again. He has a
Without a
podcast. We
doubt.
get his partner and stuff. Yeah, it'll be
we
fun.
had him and Mead on together, Paul, and it was a nice combination of like Manny was like not used to like people shitting on everything, and then that's all Mead does.
Yeah, that's literally all he does. Was negative motherfucker, dude.
Yeah, and then Manny was this very positive guy who stops at one point and goes, I could listen to Frank tell stories forever. I go, well, you won't be able to because he'll be dead soon. Frank, go ahead, tell us your story.
Even I admit that. My life has been so shitty.
Hold on a minute, Frank. I forget. I got to do this every week. Paul, and I know Bobby kind of alluded to it. Frank, even if you're not going to tell a story about it, let me tell him. Frank, in a long period of time in his life, got together with this guy named Alan Abel, and the two of them were master hoaxers and pranksters before time of all this stuff where you record it now and you reveal. They would go around this country tricking people into thinking they were like Arab princes and like lottery winners and all this just to promote books and do things and then never reveal what they did. There are people who went to their graves thinking these pranks were real things and they were master hoaxes, and there's a documentary out about them and all that stuff. So a lot of Frank's stories come from him just tricking the fuck out of dumb people back in the Google shit. So Frank, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm bringing it down a little bit. This goes back to 2000, 21 years ago. I knew somebody on the Saturday Night Live, and I used to go to the shows and watch them. And so this one show I go to, Christopher Walken, who I loved as a guest host there. He was brilliant on those shows. And so just before the show starts, this woman comes up to me and says, Frank, you could help us out. Come with me. We want to get the audience going before the show. This is like 4 or 5 minutes before the show. She brings me out and she brings me around the set. And that's the set where the band is. And I see there's steps in the back. And she says, come with me. And she's bringing me up to the steps. And she says, what we're going to do, Don Pardo is going to introduce you as the guest tonight. And you're going to get applause. You walk down there, you take some bows, and we'll get the audience.
Awesome. Legendary Don Pardo saying.
Don Pardo, said Frank Morgallo brilliantly. So that happens. They open the door for me, and there's the band, and they're playing, and everybody's clapping, and I start walking down the steps. I start taking bows, and then when the audience started to mull down, all of a sudden, Jimmy Fallon, who was a rookie then, comes walking out with a guitar. And he sings a love song to me. And so I reacted the way I would react in a situation like that. And before you know it, we got into each other.
How did you react? Did you call him a fag?
Yeah.
It was fun. And then all of a sudden he starts calling me a mob guy and blah, blah, blah. And I start calling him different names and whatnot. And every's laughing. And all of a
What
sudden.
names did you call Jimmy Fallon?
You got to get more descriptive.
So two guys.
You know what you called him. What did you call Jimmy Fallon?
I don't remember. I mean, this is.
Yes, you do.
No, I do. I got encephalitis and I forgot a lot of this stuff.
You know all these stories like the back of your back.
Yeah, I know, but this wasn't a story that I told a lot of.
You call him the N-word for no reason, just like randomly.
He knew he was going to do blackface eventually.
Yeah.
So what happens is they grab us and the show starts and it was great. And I used to go to the after parties that they used to have. And so I'm at the bar and I'm talking to about 5 or 6 of the cast members, Molly Shannon and a couple of other ones. And so
which one wanted to fuck you?
I'm telling stories. I'm telling stories about the hoaxes and they're into it and everybody's having a good time. And all of a sudden the musical guest comes over. She was relatively unknown, but she killed that night. She sang At Last. And she comes over and she's just looking at me and not saying anything because I'm talking away. And finally, when I stopped to take a breath, she goes, "Excuse me, sir, are you anybody?" And I said, "No, ma'am." And she said, "Thank you," and walked away. It was Christina Aguilera. She was looking to get ahead, type of deal. So who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it her? Is it Saturday Night Live for making me go up there? Is it me for telling the stories when I was there? Was it the cast for edging me on and let me tell these stories? Who was the piece of shit?
Is it Jimmy Fallon? Because he's a piece
Is
of
it Jimmy Fallon, right? Who wasn't at the after party, by the way.
All right, Paul, go ahead.
I'm going Jimmy Fallon because I hate him. He sucks. He's the asshole.
Fucking making
Or
fun of
piece
you,
of shit.
yelling at you, coming out with his guitar like an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you call him a fag, Frank?
No, he was a young kid. I mean, he was unknown at the time.
Yeah, but you call him Jimmy Fagin or something. Like,
Yeah.
I might have. I mean, we hasn't.
you know what you
we
did.
haven't spoke since then.
Do you regret not lying to Christina Aguilera to get with her?
No. How am I going to help?
Frank.
Oh, could have got laid.
No,
you know our last
I
story? Should I introduce you to a lieutenant from our last story?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, true.
I think you always accuse me of getting laid in these stories.
No,
I
we
that
don't.
was the
We never accuse
farthest-
you of getting laid. We accuse you of somehow having a story like happened again, Bobby, correct? Where
Yeah,
somehow
this is the
a hot
perfect
ass
example.
woman throws herself at you in the middle of the fucking story. And
Yeah.
you're like, well, this part didn't fucking happen.
Well, I'll ask Paul. It's the mustache.
Were you still rocking the stash back then?
I had a full beard then. Yeah, it was dark. It was black.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can't do the
I
full
think
beard.
Aguilera likes black. So Bobby, he was a
Anyway.
piece of shit.
Frank, he
Why?
once again told the story where some girl threw herself at his feet and he took the moral high ground.
Yeah.
Frank's night was I showed up to watch SNL, just got brought up to be a part of the show, called Jimmy Fallon the F word, went to the after party. I'm crushing with the crew, and then Christina Aguilera wanted to fuck me. And I said, nah, I don't feel like it today. It's Frank.
It's two people. One, very obvious, it's Frank. And for the same reason Bobby said, but Frank, she's asked if you were anybody. Even if you're not going to be a fucking sexual pervert, you have faked being a fucking prince. You have faked
Yeah.
being in the federal. You could have pretended to be an agent and then weirdly fake signed Christine. How funny that would have been if you just signed her and then had her go do like TJ Maxx for some bullshit thing. And she would have gone, are you anybody? She was that desperate. You could have just signed, not even had to be perverted. It just would have been fucking like your master hoaxman. The story you'd be telling on here now, how you tricked Christine Aguilera to like just being at your house singing at kids' birthday parties. It's become the genie in the fucking bottle. And it would have been great. And the second one, by looking back there, how long has Keenan been on that goddamn show? What year was this?
This was from the early 2000s. I couldn't zero in.
He's been on there
2000.
almost 20 fucking years.
Yeah. Oh, I think he's there 20 years. Yeah.
Why
He's been there the
didn't he
longest.
come out with a white beard on and go, I'm Frank's brother? Like, that would have been hilarious. He's all fat. You guys are built the same. He has a white beard. He had
That
black
would've been
beard back
amazing.
then. And just, hello, him and Daryl Hammond. Daryl Hammond should have blackface on too. And they should have all come out next to you. And you could have been the Oreo. And it would have been the greatest opening of all fucking time. Frank's like, live from New York, Jimmy Fallon's a fag. And then he points to the camera and it's all done. So yeah, it's you and it's fucking Keenan who are the pieces of shit.
I agree.
But I'm happy you didn't try to fuck any of them because we know that part's not real. So that's fine. Bobby, do you have a story?
I do. Mine's actually a news story. Is that cool?
Thank
I
God.
just really want to discuss it.
Paul, Bobby's stories are usually some kind of hidden cryptic thing where he's trying to either help me get a comedy gig somewhere or trying to complain because people aren't treating me well, which I appreciate all the time. But it's usually, or once in a while, a dig at me. But this one,
Like his passive aggressive bulldog. Woof, woof.
right? Or or somebody didn't serve him a sandwich properly.
That's
That's
right.
sometimes what it is.
That is a lot of my stories.
Right.
Not getting served food correctly.
So
But this
Bobby,
is neither.
take it away.
So there is this girl. We'll just call her Prude Bitch. This prude bitch posted on her TikTok that she was 24 years old and never had a first kiss. So she was taking this story blew up. She received like 1,000 applications to be her first kiss. Some guy she selected because it was her professor from college's younger brother, and she just thought that was so funny. They both got their HIV. No, they both got their COVID
Both
test.
got each other making out.
They both got their COVID test. Met
That
up.
would suck getting HIV just from making out with a chick.
Yeah.
You can do anything. It's like, oh no.
They met up and then had their kiss. Now, it's important to note you guys can't see the story, but this girl's kind of attractive.
Is this during
she-
COVID times?
Yeah, like this just happened like a week
Nice.
and a half
There's-
ago.
The guy's like, fuck mask, fuck whatever. I'm going to make out with some lady. Nice.
Well, they both got tested like right beforehand. They
Yeah.
met at the
Wow.
testing center. Then
That makes it
So-
creepier when they go get tested.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know what makes this worse. I'm not sure if it's real or not. Like, and I don't know which is worse. Is it worse if she faked it and like got a bunch of guys to fill out an application? Like she showed her inbox. 1,000 guys definitely filled
Yeah,
out
she
an
did.
application to kiss her. Or is it worse if it's real and like this desperate girl waited 24 years for something special and then let it be an application? So is she the piece of shit? Is it the simping guys who all filled out an application and didn't get selected to be?
Was it just
their
men?
first
There was
kiss?
no women that applied?
I don't know. She didn't really divulge that. I think
This
she
day and
specified
age,
she
how
wanted a
how
guy.
dare you?
Mhm.
Or is it people who like shared this story and thought it was interesting? Like if this was high school, we'd bully those people. You know what I mean? So who's the
Yeah.
piece of shit? Frank, we'll go to you first.
I think it's her because I don't think that's real. I think it sounds so made up and so much as pulling the wool over your eyes and getting publicity. That's not real. No 24-year-old attractive girl has never been kissed. I don't believe that for a second. I mean, that's something that we would have pulled 30 years ago. It's not true. And so I'm saying she's the full of shit, piece of shit. And plus, you got to give second honors to the public for falling for it. But you need the public to pull it off. And the public helped her pull it off. But she's the piece of shit.
I like your analysis. Fenz, what do you think?
It's definitely the 1,000 simping dudes. How much of a fucking loser do you have to be to put in an application to kiss a girl, dude? You know what I mean? And this
Yeah.
isn't 12-year-old boys doing this. This is grown men, 20s, 30s, 40s, I'm sure. That's fucking sad, dude.
Paul, I hate to tell you, there's two people on the panel did send in applications.
Oh, you
Frank
and who else?
And Daryl Hammond.
Yeah. And Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, fag.
Fucking how autistic does this girl have to be though? Like what's wrong with her that she's I'll take your word for it that she's attractive, 24 years old, never had if that's true, so, what is wrong with this chick? You know
Yeah,
what I
is
mean?
it like religion or is it
Does she
like
smell bad? Is she
Yeah.
just like a weird horse girl? Like what's going on with that?
and she picked her college professor's younger brother.
That's shady too.
That's kind of weird, right?
Mm-hmm. Maybe like a fetish. She couldn't fuck her college or kiss her college professor for conflict of interest or something.
Who knows?
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah,
That's
what do
a
you think,
strange
buddy?
story.
Okay, well, this is a story that can only make sense now in 2021, 2020. Because go 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there were stories about women that were virgins when they were 35, 40 and selling off their virginity and people paying for it. And men would put up money and the highest bidder got to fuck a lady. And these were real things that were before social media. People were doing that. In this day and age, trying to do the kiss thing is the safer thing because, you don't want to have any creep coming over because it is. I mean, that's terrifying to like some guy's going to pay a lot of money to just mount your Rushmore. Like, I never understood the concrete. A first kiss means she's never kissed, which means it's not going to be good. So why the fuck do you want it? I don't want a first blowjob or a first fuck. When someone's like, oh, the girl you dated used to fuck a lot of people, I'm like, well, she's good at fucking. Like I'm fine with that. It's not like I'm not fucking people. That's fine. The problem is this. If you can't believe that people are doing this, you're not paying attention to social media. Look at a girl post any picture, not even like looking hot. Like literally, she's just sitting there, in her car going, "Oh, I have one of those days." Indian men are putting flames underneath, which I never understood. They're trying to roast them on fire. Like, you are beautiful princess. There's so many thirsty motherfuckers out there who now through social media, this is the norm. 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been. It is normal for a guy to go, yes, I want to. There are people that have dated for 2 years on social media and never met, just FaceTimed and never fucked.
True.
This part makes perfect sense to me because with all the kind of 80 genders there is now, there's probably one that's just like FaceTime asexual, and that's all you do. So I get all that. I get the guy going out there and going, that's I'm going to try this because I'm lonely, whatever. And this girl, she's not a whore, whatever. And I know you're saying the one thing with the professor, but go the other way. That guy's like, hey, bro, was she a bad student? Was she weird? Do you think this is true? He's like, no, she's really quiet into herself, and that's fine. She's choosing him because at least she has there's some safety there. And I kind of get that. The pieces of shit in this are the men who didn't get chosen, because that's the saddest bachelor of all times. At least on The Bachelor or like dating games or stuff, when you get chosen and you can just be like, whatever. And then you're on TV and then like you're still going to get laid. You're going to walk off a residual puss no matter what. If you can't do that, what are you doing? Like, hey, man, because someone's going to know. I'm sure it's pretty public. They were probably writing on their Twitter thinking like, yeah, I'm going to be the one that does it and sharing it. Vote for me for kisses or whatever. And then they don't get fucking kisses. Like, that's the saddest dude. Like, that's the guy. I don't think you should ever kill yourself, but in that situation, you should. It's over. You didn't even get the kiss from the okay girl. And I'm sure she's not hot. I think we all know about me on that with that word on this show. Hot isn't a thing that exists. There's like 3 people in the world that were ever hot. It's too hot. We should never call that. She's fuckable and situationally hot probably, but in real, if you saw her somewhere, she wouldn't blow me away. I wouldn't be awesome. And I'm sure she's been, her dad never kissed her on the cheek. Like, wow, where are we going with the kiss here? Someone mouth fucked her at one point. And what if she hasn't kissed? What if she's just taking it in the ass? She's one of those people. It's like, no, I've never really kissed before, but I've had things blown in my cornhole a whole bunch. So the pieces of shit are the people who didn't make it. Everyone but the professor's brother is a piece of shit. Don't sign up for the makeout What is this, 1950s in Greece? Is it a kiss booth? What are you doing? Traveling for kisses. Fuck you. Get a whore.
I think she's the piece of shit. And
Why?
I think it's for the first reason you said. Like, it's 2021. What the fuck is this? You're
a woman getting
off-
attention. A woman controlling.
Yeah, hang on.
That's all
though,
that
hang
is.
on.
She's going to get a fucking reality show. She's going to get a Netflix thing. She's going to get a podcast. Something she's going to get out of this. Never
Right,
been
but we
kissed
need-
podcast. And that's what it's going to be. It's all for attention. It's all for likes. She's the TikTok girl that gave away her kisses. That's why she's doing. That's why anyone does anything. Why does the bagel guy attack folk? Why does the fucking Tiger King fucking marry straight dudes? They're doing it just for attention. She did this thing. It's the safest one. She could probably end up being the next Charlie D'Amelio or whatever the fuck it would be. You know what I mean? Like, she could pull that off easily.
Yeah, but it's the safest one for her. But that's the kind of shit that leads to pedophilia. Like the glorifying of the first kiss and stealing
to be
of the
fair, the
innocence
thing that
and
leads to
conquering.
pedophilia is fucking a kid.
Yeah, but you get the point. What I'm saying, like that puts that out there as much
She's
as
24.
anything.
She's not a kid.
But it's the same idea. It's like that glorifying, like you were saying about the conquering. It's that glorifying of conquering.
Yeah, I never understood the
part of
virgin
the
thing.
aspect. Yeah, but
guy's
like it's
like,
the
yeah,
same thing
virgin.
that
I'm
leads
like,
to that
why?
with kids. It's like they get damaged. They want to damage other people. I think we need to stop glorifying that as a society. And
The
yeah,
men
if
who
you're one
want
of those,
virgins that don't have sex.
say that
Yeah.
again.
In their mind, they think, well, it's tight. It's like, who are you fucking that's that loose?
Yeah.
But most sex is tight. I mean, it's
No
it's
one.
tight.
If you
It's
think
gotta
if you're
be.
that
Like,
concerned
unless
about
the
fucking a
lady's
virgin,
fucking like,
no one.
sitting on a stool and falling right through, and she just had 6 kids and like some Chilean coal miners in there, she's gonna be tight.
Yeah.
You're,
I've never
it's
came
sex.
across
What are you
a
complaining
loose
about?
pussy. Yeah.
Like, I
It's
can't
never
handle
not
this.
fully sealed around my dick. You know what I mean?
I
Not
gotta put my
once.
leg in here. Like, it's
Yeah.
not working out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's fine. I think
How does-
that's what today's day and age is.
Yeah, she's just got to be like autistic or something. How does this story exist in the same world where every chick shows her pussy on OnlyFans? That's what I don't get. This sounds like you said, Pat, a 1950 story.
Right.
Like girls never been kissed before. You know, it's in the newspaper or something like that.
I
You
bet you
gotta-
she has an OnlyFans and it's completely clothed, and she always ends it like just kind of giving the kiss out, and people are paying for that. $14
Yeah.
a month for a kiss thing. I know like 5 waitresses that are on OnlyFans, and I know I've talked about this too on my other podcast, but like, I don't even want some of those. I know them, so I don't want these girls bringing me onion rings. I don't want to see their areolas. Like everybody shouldn't be on there. Like, well, it became a thing where you used to you talk to a girl, you date her. Not that I'm a big fan of being sent boobs. I like just seeing live. I like earning my boobs. You know what I mean? But if you're gonna get sent to you, I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
I've never gotten a hooker. I can barely ask people out. I would definitely not want to subscribe to someone I know or a mediocre comedian. Hey, real quick, all you female comedians out there, you're not hot. You're not hot. Yeah, it's a butt. Guys, get over it. It's a butt. Just Google butts.
Let them do what they want.
What?
Man, let them take their marks. Like, everybody's got a hustle.
I've seen the marks on their butt. It looks like an English muffin half the fucking time.
Cool. And there's some dude who's willing to pay $10 to see that.
Yeah.
That cottage cheese.
I'm all
That's
for a
on that
good
dude.
grift.
That's not on the
Listen,
chick.
as a fucking guy who's working very hard to get the stage time I can get, and then Butt Cheeks McGee gets fucking stage time every goddamn week because her butt cheeks are out, I'm pissed. What I'm saying is, please join my OnlyFans. My ass $14 a guy.
I'm all for a good grift, man. When you can make this stupid money off these dumb fucks, go ahead, do it.
No. You're
But
right.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
They're doing
But-
it. It's these men that are spending all this money at a time where they're on unemployment because they can't afford, they can't work, but they're spending their unemployment on OnlyFans. Fuck off.
There's infinite porn out there too.
So
Why would you pay so much money for average looking chick?
I couldn't imagine
I
ever
mean,
paying for porn.
that alone, let alone just like a couple still shots of like a decent looking chick. You know what I mean?
What happened to the imagination?
Mhm.
Just find that picture of that girl and then just close your eyes and imagine. That's more fun.
Good mind beat.
You're posing on the bed, seeing her hamper behind. I don't want to know what her hamper.
Yeah.
So, Frank, OnlyFans is a website sometimes where girls will post naked pictures.
And dudes.
A website is something you log on to on a computer. That's the keyboard with a TV attached to it.
Frank, electricity is what you and Ben Franklin found when you were playing with that kite that time.
Oh my God. I was visualizing you saying that, you look at the picture and you close your eyes and you
thought of me?
Well, how could you look at the picture and then close?
You look at the picture and then the girl's like in a nice, maybe like showing them a little midriff. I'm a big fan of it. If you get a nice tight little belly, that's all I need to see sometimes. Right. And I'm like, all right, that's nice there. That's all you need sometimes. Don't show me a foot. I'll punch you in your neck. But like, I don't want to see a foot ever. But like your little belly action or whatever, something like that. Then I can sit there and close my eyes and imagine the rest. You don't need porn all the time. The less porn you watch, the less your mind gets all fucking cluttered and crazy. Sometimes you just got to imagine shit. A little meditation, a little masturbation. Do them together. It's a good time. Meditation.
I agree. Porn will fuck you up, dude. You got to chill with it. Yeah.
Especially when you go on a rabbit hole, because many times I don't like niches. I'm not I don't have like a genre or a niche. I'm actually I'm not a kinky person. I'm very, as what'd you call the girl before? I'm very prude in that regard, I guess, and things. But I like a girl. If I see a certain girl and she's attractive, I like to check out her body of work. And then I get real mad when she does shit I don't like. Like, you're doing foot shit, fuck off. And I get mad at her and I can't talk to her anymore. I never talk to her. Or I meet them on Wet Spot. That's even weirder. I'm like, or once I meet them, I can't jerk off to them after that. And no. Once I've had a conversation, they're a human. No, I can't.
Never meet your heroes, dude.
Never meet your fucking heroes.
Can't fucking jerk.
Talk to you as the person, not the character.
R.I.P.
They're telling
Randy
you their
James,
dreams.
because before that, I jerked off to her 3 times and I met her. I'm like, God damn it, she's a nice, sweet lady. I'm like, sure, it's rude now.
Do they hold up in person, Pat? How was she?
I met her on Zoom in this, but she was no makeup, just sitting on her bed.
Yeah.
Not only held up in person, was very interesting, engaging, and it was
really?
Good business sense. She like literally runs her own business. It's got away from all the men producers, runs her own thing. Her boyfriend's also in porn, but he doesn't like take over the thing. She runs her own empire, does everything on her own. Smart sense, hot as fuck. And then you watch her videos, and she's like amazing at what she does. And I'm just like, you're just jealous of the mind. And I'm like, I can't jerk off to this. She's too brilliant.
Yeah. Who's this? What's her name?
Was it Randy? I think last name's James, but it's spelled like RAHAY.
NDIE.
Yeah. Then there's a moron. Like I've met like Trinity St. Clair, and she's like dope or whatever. But like, there's everything in comedy or whatever. Here's Bobby getting mad because she showed up on a show one time. Who was the other dumb one? Sutherland, right?
I think they're all pretty intelligent. If you can get fucked on camera and make decent money off of it, you're pretty smart.
No. If you can get fucked on camera and be the one who's producing and directing it and running that whole thing, you're pretty smart. If you could just take $50 because some guy's like, you pretend you're my stepdaughter and you choke your butt. Like, no, there's a bunch of those. There's a bunch of guys who are just like, you'll make $25 the hard way. And the guy has 8 views.
I hope you realize
you.
the irony.
Your uncle just fucked
this.
you.
Because we are comedians. We're not running and producing our own shows. We are the porn stars. We aren't.
No, but I've run comedy. That's why I appreciate her. I've had to run comedy clubs. I've had to get myself booked. I'll do that. And it really was kind of the same thing to get away from the big bookers and the chain places that wouldn't deal with it. And she went out and did her own fucking, and that shit is like more attractive to me than her hot body. But that's the way to run shit. When you're some dope who's like, I like cock. Like, yeah, it's good. I'm psyched you like cock, but like, you shouldn't be famous and you shouldn't be called a fucking actor.
Oh, definitely not.
Or star. I want to be comedy star. Why can't we be comedy stars? They're porn star all stars. They can't all be stars.
I mean, I see what they do. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, you would. If you had a pussy, you'd get fucked all day. If you had a pussy, you'd be in every porn. You'd be in snuff shit.
I don't know, man.
You'd show it to us right now.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be.
See,
I'd show you
you're
my
a
dick
whore.
right now if you asked nice enough.
Yeah, you would definitely. You'd be on Wet Spot as the new co-host.
Probably.
If you were
'Cause I got
Bobby
that
with a pussy.
business mind.
Yeah.
Bobby with an eye.
Bobby with a pussy wouldn't be attractive though. Bobby'd be just a fat chick. I'd have to work just as hard. I'd basically be a dude.
Listen, Mike Fakes was supposed to be on this episode. He was the last co-host. He wasn't attractive, but he had a pussy. So I love Fakes. He's probably gonna be on next week. But yeah, Bobby, if you were you with a pussy, no one would on that show. That you don't want attractive. You want the strange thing. You know what I mean? And if you were with a pussy,
I'd be
that would
ugly. I don't want to
Chrissy.
be referred to as the strange thing.
Yeah, you do.
I'd be like a soft 6.
If you were you right now with a beard and Bobby with a pussy,
I'd have
you
the
would
best
not be a
hits of any of us.
6.
Yeah.
You'd be a
soft
-4.
6? I don't know about that.
Who are you a soft 6 to? You're you with a pussy.
You know my demographic.
No, who
Hit
is your
that one more time,
demographic?
DJ.
Mole people? Who is your demographic? Imps?
This got really hurtful.
No, you're like a hot, like when you watch the porn and there's the guy in the corner, the cuck guy who cleans it up with his face after, like the Zamboni dude.
Yeah.
No, I don't
Use
watch
his mouth to clean the cum.
porn.
Like the lady's like, I'm fucking this guy because your penis stinks. And you have to come in, crawl in, and clean the jizz out. You're like a hot one of those.
No.
Okay, you're not hot. You're okay. You're an okay looking one of those.
You just said he was a -4.
If he was a lady with a pussy in his head. If he was Bobby right now, Frank, and had a vagina, -4.
Bobby, you talking if you were like a chick, like no beard, like you, if you did a face swap?
If I had
I
feminine
didn't say
features.
that. I said
Yeah,
you,
Pat's just
Bobby,
saying you
beard.
with the pussy, like,
All right,
like Buck
that's a
Angel.
little different.
That's,
All right, I
you were
get it,
saying
I get it,
you were saying soft 6.
Yeah.
No.
I know what Bobby's saying. He's saying if he was born a woman and
if
he,
Bobby
it
was
him.
born a woman with his
Yeah.
personality. You're a 9, Bobby.
That's fair.
Because
Thank
there's no guy who wouldn't want to bullshit with you and then like have a little sex and fucking hang out and
Yeah.
smoke weed after. You'd
That
be
fucking
fucking
pussy.
the best butt fucking friend ever.
What's on your plans today, Bobby? Well, we're gonna smoke some weed, shoplift from the 7-Eleven, and then eat the rewards.
And by that I mean my pussy. Eat my rewards. All right. Paul, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, dude, thanks
Please
for
plug
having me.
anything you got.
The shows that Frank said at the beginning, OfFenzive and Ski Mask Collective, and then twitch.tv/Paul Fenz if you want to watch video games and shit. I stream on there sometimes.
What games you play?
Call of Duty, NHL, did a little Assassin's Creed, the new Viking one. That's pretty dope.
Do you
But,
get
yeah,
all fired up in NHL?
Oh yeah, dude! I play with the boys. You can hear them on there, the whole team. Tim Butterly and Mike Rainey, if you know them, 2 comedians. They just got it. They're gonna be playing with us too. And yeah, it's fucking fun, man. It's a fun time if you like video games and slurs.
That's a good time.
Yeah, dude.
Frank, anything?
Nothing. Zippo.
Nothing.
I got nothing going on.
Yeah,
I'm waiting
Frank,
for
Frank
you know
and I
what I
used
got
to do that
going on?
show, then the curfew ruined it, so we can't do our show right now.
True. Oh yeah, so even the casino's like 9, right?
Yeah,
Is this
9:30. Like I was
true?
there on Sunday. We had to be out of there everything by 9:40.
If the casino's strict, everything's fucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But they're
can
being
I
smart. Like
ask you
they
this
did
question?
3 shows. They did a 4 o'clock, a 7, a 6:30, or 6 o'clock, and then an 8 o'clock show.
So they just start wicked early.
Yeah,
then.
but it was like this weekend it was Pat. Like they did a hypnotist show that was sold out, and a sellout isn't regular. No, like it could hold 300. It's like 150s to sell out because of what they have to do. And then there was a drag queen show, and that fucking sold out. And then our show with me, Darren Rivera, and Dave Hintz, that sold out too. People are just out.
Could you answer this one question? Me and Ski were arguing about it. Can you smoke at Mohegan Sun indoors?
You could always but not in every spot. There are designated smoking areas, but right now with COVID, no, you cannot. You have to go outside the doors.
Oh, because of COVID. Okay, so that's probably where you got it. Because I'm pretty sure you can smoke not only at Mohegan, but every casino everywhere. You can smoke
but they have
somewhere
designated
indoors.
Smoking areas.
They'll have tables that you can and tables that you can't, right?
Right, and even just areas that aren't the tables, like you literally can, like at the comedy club, you can't smoke there, but if you cross the hall and stand just on the outside of where the slots are, you can smoke right there. Like it makes no sense because the smoke will travel. You're still blowing.
You're indoors.
But they try to move it around a little bit.
Yeah,
but right now, you have to go outside.
Okay, so that's why then.
Bobby.
Eastside Dave show every Tuesday at 7:30 on Compound Media. And then the first week of March, I will be at Scotty's Comedy Cove in New Jersey somewhere. So if you're in New Jersey somewhere and that sounds familiar to you, hit up my DMs. I'll throw you some tickets.
Nice. All right, you can hear me every Sunday at 99.1 PLR. You can stream that or on the app as well. Just playing a bunch of classic rock music and me saying dumb little things in between till they tell me to stop talking. Please subscribe to both my YouTube channels. We have the Podophiles one. Please check that out. That show's been getting crazy. If people are getting real mad at us, somebody said they were saying offensive things. And I said, well, that's a comedy show, and that's the whole point. And then they told me I shouldn't have to explain that. So hopefully that person fell off a bridge. But everyone else, I want you to subscribe to that. Subscribe to the Pat Oates YouTube channel as well. If you want to be a big supporter, we're going to be putting a lot more of these shows. Bobby and I have some great plans for some retail fucking stuff like that. It's going to be on the Patreon at first. Please go to the Pat Oates Podcast Patreon. We thank you guys so much for listening. If you're watching this right now, please just like the shit out, like the YouTubers say, you punch the button bullshit, whatever they do. I don't know. But thank you so much. I don't have comedy shows till February. There's no point in promoting that. But we thank you guys so much for watching. And Bobby,
remember, don't be a piece of shit.